Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. So, Spright, Evil Twin new format. We had our ban list a couple of hours ago and 5 duels ready. Spright versus presumably, probably the new best deck, well, it was already the best deck, right, in our previous format, and I'm, talking about Tearlaments for the most obvious reasons. They got a couple of, well, big hits, but it's still probably the best deck. It can still do so much unfair things, while on the other hand, Spright, okay, it only lost like one card indirectly, Ronintoadin, and it's a big hit. The thing, and that's something that I wanted to test out. I'm running this particular build. It's still testing. Even though it's only, well, Spright only lost one card, it does a lot. It does too much actually. Up until a point where I feel that was it really needed. Like, imagine this particular ban list without that Ronintoadin hit, I would definitely be fine. Like Spright was okay. Okay, well, Double Toad was ridiculous, but I mean, look at Tears. Even post ban list without Snow, it's still ridiculous. Curious is still there, and it can do so much unfair stuff still. Plus they're getting more support in the next pack also. So the reason why I'm running this particular build is that even though you're not running any frogs, well, I'm running one dupe. It might sound strange, but I'll come back to that in the next couple of moments. But the reason why this particular build is because of Frost. Frost is an aqua type, as you know. It's not a water type. Well, water attribute, I have to say. So I guess that's the biggest weakness of still running Toad without dupe or any frog in the main deck. Sure, you can go for Toad because of, Frost is an aqua type and double Frost is Toad. Okay, that's cool. That's potentially a double Omni Negate for your opponent or against your opponent with Spright Elf. Again, that doesn't change. The thing though is that well, is it really worth it to still run the frogs? Triple swap, double swap, no Ronin, dupe, maybe? I mean, people weren't running dupe before, why should you run dupe now? The thing is that here in this particular duel, I was missing a frog. First of all, I mean, a frog that maybe could be special summoned off of the Toadally Awesome here during the standby phase, preferably, obviously, that's a dupe frog. But, I mean, as you know, that makes you quite weak to Super Poly. The thing is that, okay, I'm running the frog. I wasn't running it at first, but the reason why I'm running it, you'll see it in the next couple of duels, is that I need something to get back from the graveyard off of a Toad. The thing is that, okay, that potential double Omni Negation is cute, but before you had like, okay, Toad can get back a swap or maybe a Diva or whatever, but now there is nothing, because again, I'm not running Diva, Helki is banned, so there's, I think, no reason to run Diva, no? And that's a huge problem, because that means that you don't have any normal summon for the next turn, like no swap normal, no dupe normal, if you're running those previously. So that's why dupe is there. Again, it's not the best, far from. But again, it obviously needs more testing, so that's the reason why I decided to try this build. I wanted to see if Toad is still worth it. Are there other options to pump out Toad? Not too many. Again, are you really playing the swaps? I don't think so. There's better options. I'm looking at Runic Spright, right? I mean, nothing from Runic is hit, so that might be the version to go to. Then again, this is not the most optimal build, as you saw in the side deck previously. There are cards that definitely want to main deck still, like I'm running, at least I'm looking at Dark, Spright, Pixies has been going in and out because the deck feels far more weaker than it was before. I was running Pixies at some point, but it feels that it's not enough. It might sound strange, but it is. The reason why I dropped Pixies is, again, for more hand traps. Are we going for, and with we I mean Sprites, are Sprites leaning towards more hand traps again? Because again, you like Tears, they didn't really lose anything. They can still go Curious, they can still go Eradicator for whatever reason. I mean, they should have banned Curious as well to prevent that play, Griffin into Eradicator. Because again, and that's the reason why, Mystic Mind is not banned. It's not limited, so it's still at 3. It might just be, especially early formats, it might just be something to go to for Spright. Again, go for the power spell version with Mystic Mine, like going second. Have a couple of duels going second against Tears. Having a mine, it helps. That sounds so terrible to say, but it is the case. Because the deck is still so unfair. Again, Curious is still there. You have Masquerina for 0 Borals, or maybe Topologic for at least against your opponent during their turn. Redoer is still there, you know, potentially Fusion Summon. It's a big beat stick, right? That could potentially return, attack over Elf, threaten a Toad. Salic is there. Okay, Cyclones are still also here in the main deck for Spright, but again, it's still, you know, it feels iffy. Is Spright going to be, you know, still a good and solid choice for like a YCS level caliber tournament? I doubt it. Tears might just be, you know, flat out better because of the higher ceiling and more consistency. And again, the lack of negation as well in case of Spright, right? So that's why, okay, Evil Twins could give you the potential Toad access. I'm not sure if it's really needed. It can still do some nice things with the Spright engine. You can draw, you know, at least that's something I'm probably going to change, is add in more hand traps. I'm looking at Nibiru, which is of course delicious against Tears. Mourner maybe. I'm looking at other hand traps. Bell, probably not. But again, you know, like, maybe looking forward to like a more hand trap oriented build. Problem is before you had like Helgi still, that could potentially turn any hand trap into a Helgi play, which, you know, turns out the link to and you know that's your full combo. But that again changes with Helgi ban, and you know it feels like Spright just got a big hit indirectly, much bigger compared to Tears. Tears definitely could have lost Curious, for example. Other cards, probably, maybe, you know, make the deck a bit less consistent, maybe hitting the field spell or something like that. But they didn't. It is what it is. So you need to, you know, combat that with potentially early format. I'm looking at Mystic Mine, I'm looking at Nibiru, more hand traps. You know, those are the first things that come to my my attention, and that could potentially work well with the twins, right? Draws and so on. Prosperities are still there. I'm not sure. Prosperity, it's cool. It blocks the potential twin draws as well. I mean, during your turn, but I don't know. It's same with Talents. Talents, again, it's still early format. Are people going for hand trap heavy builds? It might. I mean, if you're playing against Tears, they're probably not going to play hand traps, so that's the thing, right? Like, just like Nibiru, the Talents is also like a format depending card. If people are playing hand traps, you definitely go for that. If not, you drop it. You get the point. And that's the thing now, is that I think I'm running like 9 hand traps. That's like a little bit in between, you know, like triple Imperm, triple Crow, triple Failure to hit Kit Kalos. But that's the thing, it's like maybe focus a bit more on hand traps, especially early format where you're expecting more Tears. Problem is that that's something I haven't talked about yet, is as you know, Tears are getting more support in Darkwing Blast, the next set. In the form of a new fusion that blocks Nibiru. It doesn't make sense. So Nibiru now, I guess, should probably be main deckable. People might gear towards Tear. So yeah, I think early format, maybe Mystic Mine again. But again, you know, people are expecting it, so they're probably main deck for it, and I'm looking at the Eradicator. Because Curious is not banned, so it's like, it feels like a loop, a circle that you're like, okay, I should main deck that, but Konami didn't ban this, so you get the point. So it feels a bit, why did they ban Ronin? Like, let Spright still be full, you know, quote-unquote full power, let us battle it out. And see that, like, I think it's November that we're getting the Ishizu stuff. Ishizu stuff, yeah, that as well. You know, that's again something for Tearlaments, and that's where Spright, like, can't, they're not playing that, no. So I don't know, guys. Spright, obviously, again, this is not the most optimal build, needs more testing. I'm probably, you know, leaning towards more of those side deck cards, as you saw. Are the Evil Twins still worth it? Iffy. Really iffy. I might test out Runic as well. Again, for the most obvious reasons. Extenders, Disruption as well. but still, it might feel a bit underwhelming with... yeah, that's the thing, right? With Tear still being so powerful, and that's, I don't know how to say it. It feels a bit, not underwhelming, but heartbroken, not. No, that's not the correct word, but it's like they could have done more for Tears, or against Tears. I'm looking at Curious again. I'm repeating myself, but again, that's something, at least that's how I feel about the ban list and after some test tools. So it's iffy. It's really, really iffy. So going second here, last duel, like this hand is pretty okay. You have pretty okay. Before this with Swap and Toad, this was a fantastic hand. Like going second against Tear, double set, that's iffy. We know the Salic is there, and I believe we can expect one of the Super Polys. Super Poly now is still broken. Why is that card not limited? Still, or banned? Should be banned, but it's still a 3. So that's so OP. Here, I definitely should have gone, like now here, I definitely should have gone for Prosperity first. I was running double Cyclone. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to hit the Cyclone out of the, at least from the top of my deck, the second one, because I already had one in hand. Obviously to chain to a Salic or potentially hitting double back row if I had another Cyclone. But here, the game is pretty much over. I don't think there is anything I can extend into. But the pot here is, I think the last card is going to be the Cyclone. But then again, I think my deck got shuffled before. I think so. Yeah, I think with one of the searches. So the Cyclone might not have been there. It is what it is. But again, with the chance, I should have Prosperity first. But yeah, I was blocked due to starter, so no Zeus play. So I don't think I would have won this one. But like the build is far from optimal. I really wanted to test out Toad. Is it still worth it? It might be. I'm looking at maybe Floodgates, Mystic Mine. I'm looking at more hand traps like Nibiru, maybe Mourner, for example. Should Pixies be main decked? I don't think so. It again feels a bit underwhelming. Your builds and boards are far less strong, are weaker compared to it was before with Toad and Toad getting the swaps back. It's far more, at least it's weaker compared to before this ban list. So like all suggestions are definitely welcome. When I'm looking at the side deck as well, Masquerina. IP, Zero Burrows, maybe Dark might still be there, for a potential big, gigantic play. So, it needs work. It needs to work and definitely more testing. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a card or like if you enjoyed the video. Video signing out. Peace.